It's happening again, Lewis. The U.S. is sending missiles and this time supplementing them with drones to Iraq to help Iraq fight Al-Qaeda. CNN is reporting that 2 years after bringing home U.S. troops from Iraq, the Obama administration is sending Hellfire rockets and Scan Eagle surveillance drones to help the government forces fight Al-Qaeda affiliates that they believe are growing in influence. That's according to a State Department official's statement to CNN. As first reported by the New York Times, the 75 Hellfire rockets bought by Iraq arrived last week. Plans call for 10 Scan Eagle drones to be sent in the early months of 2014. State Department spokeswoman Jennifer Psaki said that terrorists were seeking to gain control of territory inside the borders of Iraq. Lewis, it is true that Iraq has experienced an increase in sectarian violence. You have the Sunni community, the dominant Shia community that control the government, and there are sectarian tensions. There have been sectarian tensions in Iraq for a really, really long time. And I can't help but feel, Lewis, like we're getting into the exact same circle again. Because remember, this is not a new strategy in the region. We supported the Shah of Iran against Iraq. Once the Shah was deposed and the Ayatollah came to power, we turned around and supported Saddam Hussein during Iraq's war against Iran. It's this vicious cycle where then we end up going into Iraq to take down the leader we supported. And then now we're told it's different, Lewis, because no, we had the war in Iraq. We installed the government, which some people believe was like a hand-picked government, and now they're with us. But we thought they were with us before, and the exact same vicious cycle could start again.
Yeah, and I mean, overall, it's not just strictly in this region that this type of thing happens.
No.
I mean, this is how we fight most of our wars, right? These proxy wars where we just kind of send a bunch of weapons and aid to someone and let them just to help them out in the fighting.
As a completely separate thing from whether we'll eventually need to use more of our weapons against those weapons we sold or gave to them because they turn against us or they're no longer a strategic ally. It's just this tired old military-industrial complex and nearsighted foreign policy approach that together leads to us fighting against our own weapons, or at least against the individuals we supported at one time. It's just unbelievable.
Yeah, and you know what? When one of these drone strikes goes bad,
right?
You can't assume that the civilians that are killed are going to think that, oh, well, maybe this came from Iraqis. No, they're probably just going to assume that it was another U.S. drone strike. And boom, all of a sudden you've got 100 more Al-Qaeda recruits.
Yeah, and speaking of assuming that bombs or drone strikes come from a certain place, I've got an interesting story for you a little bit later on the show. Lewis teasing that story inadvertently. He's so good at it that he doesn't even have to, it just comes naturally to him.